Hi everyone, my name is Avinash and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to take you through one of the AWS service called Batch. So I will try to explain you this batch end-to-end process. So for that, we are going to follow some steps. I have listed the steps here. See, before jumping into the service, so let's understand why this batch service is important. Okay, so this generally, if you want to perform any activity or you want to schedule some tasks, you want to schedule some jobs, right? So you can depend on our regular computing mechanisms, right? So whenever you are depending on regular computing mechanism, so how the process works? See, for example, we have a user. This user want to run some jobs. See, he don't know the job quantity or how many servers he required to complete that job. So whenever he has such type of requirement, the general architecture is, so he's going to connect to a scheduler instance and he's going to execute the jobs here. So the scheduler instance connect to a CloudWatch instance, CloudWatch service. This CloudWatch continuously monitor existing servers we have. So if it required, it is going to add the computers. If it required, it is going to remove. So basically, this is traditional mechanism. Okay, but how this batch job is simplifying, batch service is simplifying this process. Okay, so if you're using this batch, so what happens? So we no need to create any EC2 instance, the scheduler instance. You no need to define any instance minimum quantity, maximum quantity in auto scaling group. So the user, he is going to directly connect to the batch AWS batch service. So it is AWS managed service. You need to create some components like you need to create your job definition with image. You can create a container image. You can place that image into ECR service, elastic container registry service. Okay, whatever activity you want to perform, what job you want to perform, you need to containerize it and you need to place it to ECR. So then so then what happened, whenever this batch job is running, this container registry image is going to pull and this image is going to execute in this compute environment. Okay, so here based on the load, AWS has capability to add resources or remove resources. If job is going to run for 1 hour, right? So you no need to launch an EC2 instance, you no need to run it and you no need to terminate it manually. So whatever compute this batch is creating, so that compute resources we can automatically terminate after 1 hour. So short-lived activities, right, or repeated activities or scheduled things we can process by using this batch service. And advantage is it is completely managed by AWS. And some common use cases where we use this batch service for image processing, for data analytics, for video encodings, right? And for financial modelings or machine learning trainings and email processings. So why we use this? See, whenever we are not sure about our workload, so we may need 100 servers, we may need 200 servers, right? And sometimes we may just need only, it doesn't require anything when nothing is coming. So when we are not sure about workloads, so then we can simply go with this batch. If your application need to up and running continuously as a service, then you can depend on regular EC2 method. But here this batch service is going to create a job. It is going to wait till the job complete. Once job complete, this compute resources are going to delete it. All right. So that is a primary purpose. So now to perform hands-on on this batch service, I'm going to perform these activities. First, I'm going to launch an EC2 instance. So within the EC2 instance, I'm going to install Docker to prepare a Docker image. So what exactly I'm going to do with this Docker image? Okay, I have two S3 buckets in my S3 platform. One bucket name is Avinash.source. It has some data. Okay, and I have another bucket called Avinash.destination. It don't have any data. Whatever the data I have in this source, that entire data I want to copy to this destination bucket. Okay, I don't want to do it manually. See, we have a lot of methods by using sync command, by using the CLI, we can do that. Manually also we can do copy paste. But I prefer to do this activity by using a batch service, batch job. Okay, so to perform that, we need to prepare a Docker image. So then you need to place the Docker image into ECR. So then we will use the component like this ECR ECR registry URI into our job definition. Then we will create a compute environment. Then we will create. So for that, so I'm going to create a repository. So then I'm going to create an IAM role and I'll attach to my EC2 instance. So then whatever the image I have prepared here, so that image I'm going to place it into ECR repository. So then here we are going to create a compute environment. For that compute environment, we need a security group. I will create that. So then I'm going to prepare an IAM role for ECS tasks whenever we are creating this job definition, right? So we can define a role that what services you want to access. So that I'm going to create first. So let's go with the step 1, 2, 3. So I'm in Mumbai region. I'm navigating to EC2 instance. See, if you are already aware about this launching instance, Docker, preparing image, you can skip to directly this create a compute environment part. Okay, so I just want to show everything from scratch. That's the reason I'm going to launch an instance now. I'm calling this instance as a Docker instance. I'm going to take Amazon Linux 2 AMI and I'm taking T2 micro, an existing key pair, and security group. We are good with an existing security group that is opened with port number 22 for everyone. Okay, so 8 gigs is okay. So then launch instance. See, from this EC2 instance, I want to push an image to my ECR repository, right? So for that, so it's better to attach a role here. So for that, create an IAM role. For navigate to IAM, navigate to roles, create role. I'm going to attach this role to my EC2 instance. I'm selecting EC2. Okay, so then click on next. Here, uh, container registry. You see here Amazon EC2 container registry full access. All right, I'm going to take that. Click on next. Um, batch YT role is the name I'm giving. Then create role. All right, the role created. See, if I want to access any other services from the EC2 instance, I can even attach like a S3 read only permissions or S3 write permissions and all. So, but I will do that activity by using batch. So we are good with this EC2 instance role. So let's attach this to our EC2 instance. Go to security, modify IAM role, and batch YT role is a name, update IAM role. All right, let's get connected to this EC2 instance and install Docker. So then prepare our image. Okay, I'm elevating my privileges to root and let me increase the font. All right, so currently I'm working as a root user. So now I am going to install Docker, yum install docker-y So once Docker installation is completed, you can start the Docker service. All right, Docker installation completed. So then run service Docker start. All right, the Docker service is starting. So now we have to create a Docker file and the support file. So I'm going to share this required files through our a GitHub repository. Okay, so let me show you what exactly this is. So yeah, let me open with a editor. Okay, so if you observe, this is my Docker file. Okay, first I'm getting the required OS, then I'm installing this AWS CLI tools as well as Porto 3. Then I'm creating a directory called app. So whatever the Python script I have here, basically this script is copying data from my source bucket to destination bucket. Okay, so this script I'm copying, this Python script I'm copying to this slash app directory. So once this image is ready, once it is in running state, then I'm executing this script. So that whatever the bucket names I mentioned here, the source bucket as well as destination bucket, so data picks from source bucket and it copies to destination bucket. So let me uh, pick that bucket names here. So my source bucket name is avinash.source.1. So you have to replace with your buckets here, and destination bucket name avinash.dest.1, which doesn't contain any data. All right. So now, so you create this and then prepare a Docker image. So let's copy this Docker file content first. Vim Docker file. Press I, paste that here, press escape, colon WQ. So Docker file got created. So next we need to create this copy S3 data. Okay, so the file name should be same. Why? Because we are mentioning that in the Docker image. If you are giving different file name, it may not work as expected. So make sure you are giving same file name. Press I. So then take the Python code, place it here. All right. Press escape, colon WQ. All right. So we have required files. So now we need to prepare a Docker image. So where we want to place this Docker image into a service called AWS ECR. So let's go to ECR. First, create a repository or registry. So once you create a registry, AWS itself will give commands to build and push that here. So we will use that commands. See, if you're going through this if you're going through this ECR service for the first time, we have a Docker masterclass series in our YouTube channel. So you go to YouTube, um, our channel AWS Avinash Reddy. So there is a playlist. So go to the playlist and here you can see AWS ECS Fargate Masterclass. So here you can have introduction to Docker, then you can have ECR, then you can go through ECS, then automating that all the process by using CI/CD pipeline. All right. So now let's create a container registry. So I'm going to call this, I'm going to keep this as a private and I'm going to call this as batch YT. Okay. So then create repository. All right. This repository got created. Now I have the Docker here, the Docker required files. I haven't prepared the build also. Okay, so I want to prepare a build. I want to get that image here. So for that, what we need to do first, we need to log into this ECR. So when you click on this view push commands, the first command is login. So copy that command, paste it here. So it should show message login succeeded. Yeah, we successfully logged in here. So then next command is preparing a build, and we are giving a tag here. So let's copy that command. So your file should be in current location. That is what this dot representing. Okay. So now the image is building. So once image is ready, then we can add a tag. So this won't take much time. So the next step is we can add a tag. So once you add the tag, so then you can push it here. So I really not running it in my local laptop, or I'm not running within this EC2 instance. Okay. If you run, yes, if you want to test it in local, you can do that. So then let's push that image here. Paste it, push. So now, earlier we have nothing here, no images. Once the push operation completed, we will get an image here. All right, image successfully pushed to our repository and the tag is latest. All right, so this image contains a URI. This URI we will use later. Let's copy this URI and paste. You keep it somewhere else. All right. So now we completed till here. We created an IAM role attached. We pushed the image to ECR. So now we need to create a security group and create a IAM role. So the security group we will use here under compute environment step, and this IAM role we will use here in the whenever we are creating a job definition. So let's go to EC2, create a security group. Go to security groups, create a security group. So I'm going to call this as EC batch compute SG, security group for batch service. All right. We don't need to open any traffic. If you want to open, you can do that. Then create security group. If you're delivering some web page kind of things, yes, you can definitely open like a port number 80 and all. But for the operation we are performing, not really required. Okay, so the security group is ready. So the second thing is IAM role. So this role, we are going to attach it to ECS service, Elastic Container Service. Okay, so ECS task is the one you need to pick. Then click on next. And here I'm going to give S3 full access. So why I'm giving this? See, by using this ECS container only, I'm going to run this job. So the job need to have permission on S3 source bucket and target bucket to copy the data. So for that purpose, I'm giving S3 full access. Then click on next. Role name, batch-yt ECS role is the name I'm giving. Then create role. All right. So the role also created. So now we got all the required things to start our batch service. So let's jump into the batch service. Go to batch. So as I told you, basically this batch service required multiple components. So first component is compute environment. So this compute environment has three things like we can use AWS Fargate method, or you can take an EC2 method, or you can take EKS method. So whatever the jobs you want to run by using this batch service, those jobs are going to use compute from one of this. So Fargate is nothing but ECS, Elastic Container Service. So we can use ECS, or we can use EKS, or we can use EC2 also. Okay. So whatever the jobs you are going to run, do you want to maintain any priority for that jobs? So that is actually we are going to define by using job queue. So which image you are going to use, how much compute resources you are going to use, right? Those all additional settings. Do you want to integrate with any other services like EFS service? You want to store logs? Such type of all things we can configure under this job definition. Okay, so let's start with compute environment first. So go to batch service. In left pane, we have compute environment. See, you can even follow this wizard method also, guys. But whenever you're following this wizard method, right, you won't get all the options. So I personally prefer manually creating the components. So first go to compute environment, click on create. So now, so which compute environment you require? You or want to go with Fargate, which is AWS managed compute service from ECS. You want to go with the EC2. So whenever your requirement is, if you want more than 16 CPUs for your job, and if you want more than 120 GB of memory, or you want to go with a GPU or custom AMI, right? So you can go with this. Again, you want to go with the orchestration type as a managed or unmanaged. Okay, so you can choose that here. Or if you already have a EKS cluster, you can use that here. So I'm going with Fargate. That is the commonly used compute environment. So now what name you want to give? I'm going to call this as a S3 copy YT, or let me add YT as a prefix. YT-S3 copy. So it required a service role. That service role defaultly available. I'm good to use that service role. Then click on next. Okay, fine. How many CPUs required? So these are like the maximum CPUs you are defining for your jobs. I'm giving like a 10 CPUs. Okay, to run any job, the maximum it is going to consume 10 CPUs. So if you want to use spot instance, spot capacities, you can enable this. So but we are good with the on demand for now. Then click on next. So in what VPC you want to run? What are the subnets you want to use to run these jobs? So if you are selecting only AP South 1A and 1B, your jobs will run only on 1A and 1B only. And what security group you want to use? See, we created one security group, right? So Batch Compute SG, I'm using that security group. Then click on next. This is a review screen. Then click on create compute environment. But before that, I want to show you one thing. So navigate to ECS service. In ECS service, we don't have any clusters. But whenever I clicked on this create compute environment, automatically I'm going to get a cluster here. You see here, I got a cluster in ECS. So whatever the jobs you are going to run, it is going to run as a task in this ECS cluster. Okay, that AWS batch is going to manage the task scheduling, task running, everything. Okay, so first part is completed, compute environment is completed. So then create a job queue. So basically this job queue, whenever you want to maintain any priorities and all, then like, you can use this job queue. So queue name, I'm calling it as a YT-S3 copy queue. So priority, I'm going with one. And to which compute environment you want to connect this. So this, whatever the compute environment we created as a step one, we need to select that here, Y2S3 copy. Then scroll down, create job queue. So the job queue also created. So first two parts created. Now we have to create a job definition. So let's go to this job definition. Let's create a job definition now. Click on create. So what is an orchestration type? Fargate is my orchestration type. So then what is the name you want to give? So YT-S3-copy task definition. So whatever the job you are running, it should execute within this given time. If it is not completed within this execution time, it is going to terminate that unfinished job. So if you are leaving this, you are not defining any uh, time limit for your tasks. So again, what forget platform version? I'm going with latest, and I'm going to assign a public IP address. So I'm going to get this component from repository, right? So we have to enable this public IP address here, right? So then if you want to add any temporary storage, ephemeral storage, you can give that here. And execution role. So you have to define so the execution role. So whenever a task is executing, so that ECS required some permissions, right? So that you can ECS defaultly has a role called ECS task execution role. I'm going to use it. Whenever you click here, it is going to show both the one we created and the default one. So I'm going with the default one as this is a execution role. So if you want to reattempt, if any job failed, how many times you want to reattempt, you can give that. You can even add conditions for that reattempt. So based on the exit code or status reason, sorry, you can resubmit the job. You can retry or you can exit. So I'm not adding any conditions here. Then click on next. And what is the image you want to run? So sometime back we created this ECR and we push the image, right? So you grab that image URI and give that image URI here. All right. So you want to pass any information or you want to place any commands, you can give that here. Scroll down and here job role configuration. So the role we have created, so that need to add here. So you go here, batch YT ECS role. Okay, that contains S3 access. And to run a job, how many CPUs you want to define? And I'm going with 0.25. So just quarter CPU and 0.5 GB RAM to run a job. So very minimal. That is the least configuration we have. So if you want to integrate with the secrets manager, you want to add any environment variable, you can add that here. And this is again, if you want to add any volumes, you want to add any mount points like a EFS. So where do you want to store all the logs? You can give AWS logs here, right? If you want to directly inject your logs to Splunk also, you can do that. So then click on next. So your job definition review screen. If you're good, then you can create a job definition. See, if you want to update this job definition, you can simply select here. You do have an option to create revision. So you can click on create revision and whatever the modification you want to perform, you can do that. Automatically, you will get a new revision ID here. All right. So now the required three components created. So finally, we are good to create our job. To create a job, okay, to create a job, we are going to job screen. You can submit from here. Otherwise, you can use this job definition. You select the job definition, go to actions, and you do have an option to submit new job. I will go with the job screen. Click on submit new job. Now it is asking for a job name. So my YT job one. Which job definition you want to use? The one we created. Which job queue you want to use? The one we created some time back. So then click on next. So now you want to give job attempts, execution timeout values, you can give that here. You want to pass any commands also, you can give that here. How many CPUs you want to, you can already, it's picking the one we configured on the job definition. It is picking automatically. Then click on next. And this is review screen. So then click on create job. So once before creating job, I just want to show you, I don't have any data in this destination bucket. So let me create job. So here job status. See, we will get error also. If job failed with any kind of errors, we will get that status reason here. You can even get that from logs also. If you observe what happened in this backend ECS cluster, right? Where is that ECS cluster? So in this ECS cluster, under a task, you observe here one task created and it is running. So once this task completed, so you will get the status here, job submitted, the job is running. So here is a log stream name. If you want to verify what exactly happening, where the error occurred, or whether the success or not, you can verify everything from this log stream. You see here the status is success. So go to the destination bucket, give a refresh. You observe all data is now copied here. I just want to double check logs. So when you click on this log stream name, it will take you to CloudWatch logs option. You see here, whatever the data we have, it is showing that is copied. All right. So that is how exactly we can create a batch job, and we can pick image from container and we can run that job to perform required operations. To summarize everything, I have a simple image. Okay, so this is what we performed here. So first we have whenever any user is submitting a job, it goes to job definition. So whenever we are submitting any job, it look for job definition. So then it goes to job queue we created. So from that job queue, it goes to the compute environment. As we discussed, we have three types, right? ECS Fargate, EC2 method, and EKS, right? So it goes to the compute environment, and the results actually it stores in backend S3 buckets, whatever the results we are getting. So first job, then job definition is here, job queue is here, then compute environment. So the all the components we created here is used here to submit the job and to run the job. And this job definition having information like whenever any task is running, how much CPU required, how much memory required. So that job definition contains, and from where it need to get the image to run the job, that also job definition will contain. All right, so that's it for this AWS Batch service. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you want more such type of videos, please spare a minute and subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you again in next video. Thank you guys.